So my encouragement this morning is don't forget the main story in your life. There are probably a lot of small stories in your life that you're not so proud of. Some small stories in your life when you are not at your best. When you say, I could have done better. When you say, I should have done better. When you say, I wish I had done it this way. Man, if I could go over, I would do it that way. I should have had more faith. I should have had more patience. I should have had more determination. I should have been more obedient. But God sent me by to say that some of the things you're fretting over are small stories. If you just look over your life, you'll see that you're like Abraham. And your main story, yeah, you got those small stories when you weren't all perfect, you didn't have it all together. But your main story is, I haven't been perfect, but after all this time, I'm still holding on. I haven't been, amen, at my best all the time, but I'm still trusting in God. Yeah, the main story of my life is that God has made up for my mess-ups. The main story of my life is that God is still on my side. The main story in my life is that God is watching over me and he keeps all of his promises. The main story in my life is that God has blessed me with some stuff that I don't deserve. The main story in my life is despite my weaknesses, God still uses me for his kingdom's sake and for his glory. And I'm blessed to be a blessing. Yeah, my faults, yeah, that's a story. But he looked beyond my faults. That's a bigger story. My sins are a story, but grace and mercy, that's a bigger story. My past is a story, but the best is yet to come is a bigger story. The test that I'm going through is a story, but my testimony is going to be a bigger story. Don't worry about the small stories. There is a main story. And in the main story, God makes up the difference. Your main story is that God is still using you. God is still keeping you. God is still blessing you. God is still making the difference for you. God is still making a way for you. God is still holding you. Because my story is based upon the story. Jesus came, that's a good story. Jesus lived, that's a good story. Jesus suffered, that's a better story. Jesus died, that's a good story. Jesus rose again, that's the best story. And he's coming back, that's the complete story.